Welcome one and all to another amazing night here in Tranquility.
We absolutely are in for a treat of a match here tonight, no question about it.
And the grenades from Pomku eliminate everybody on the field.
Now I'm between something as well is going to be applied as that Fulcrum, and it's going to be huge, fighting three.
The double kill with the Bastion ulti? Alright, I see you guys.
For B-Well, look to find a stick there, finds the stick, they find two with it!
Those who find the picks will save the fight, and they don't really need to save what they've already won.
And Cam with the four-man punch off the map!
Experience tranquility.
Hello, Tranquility. Welcome back. It's Stenchy. It's McMissile. How are you doing? We've got one heckin' game on our hands.
Yep. Both teams coming in here, Pride and Space Korea, both 4-1, same record. Both teams, their only losses have been to the top upper tier teams of Discord tier, Pride's being their loss to Cosmic Castaways, and Space Korea's being their loss to MI7 in Stage 1. They managed to take a map off of both teams, and Pride, I haven't really watched that much footage on them. Space Korea, I did get to see in action a little bit, and big player watch out for Space Korea, Ringer, their hit scan player, who looks really strong. On the side of Pride, I would say probably Resolve, who I believe is their flex DPS or hit scan. I'm not can't remember off the top of my head, and Halophile, their tank.
Yeah, there's these. Yeah, as you said, I have to agree. I watched some Silver Slander the other day. Choi would definitely agree with you, saying Resolve, in quotes, Resolve is Jesus Christ himself. For predictions heading into this, it looks like a lot of the members of predicting it went like NRFT 3-1 favoring Space Created, Choi 2-3 favoring Pride, and then Clem 3-1 Space Created. So a bit of a kind of mix up, but on the Iris podcast, they'd also agree that Space Created is a little bit underrated. Lots of people saying that Space Created, like, second best Group B team, super, like, underrated stuff. But John L showed Pride some love, thinking they'll be a surprise this stage. So, at the end of the day, it's pretty even.
Far. Pride have been a surprise for me. I think second place in their group, coming out into B pool here. Space Created, they're kind of just on the bounce back, because last season was a little bit on the downside for them, didn't do that well. This season restructured. They still have Keegsmon Swag and They Call Me M, I believe, are their two only returning players from that season 9 roster, but everything else, their support line and DPS line has been restructured. I believe by Smarties is the GM, and can't remember the coaches, but Smarties championship caliber flex support, has that championship experience under her belt, so she probably knows how to build that championship caliber team. Keeping with the tank line, I don't know if They Call Me M is here tonight, because I only really have seen Keegsmon Swag play, so we'll see who they have in first here.
Oh yeah, it's gonna come down to who they're playing when, especially on Nepal, which is such, a pretty good thinker. Really quick, Space Created rated. They also ranked like all the freaking teams. Space Created at 8th, Pride at 10th. So again, really not that far off. This is going to be a pretty even match. Looks like, yeah, we're going to see some of those players playing in this first point, and it looks like it's going to be pretty kind of frisky, because it looks like they're going to be playing for point control really hard.
Point control really hard. I will say that still in Overwatch 2, Brawl beats Dive. Winston can't really do anything against the Reinhardt, but just tickle the Rein, unless Sandy lands a massive anti-grenade, since Pride is not running anything to negate the grenade at all. That Space Created tends to like to run Dive or Ramatra. I have not seen them play Reinhardt yet this season, but we'll see if Keegsmon switches to the Reinhardt, or maybe switches over to the Ramatra if this does not work.
Let's see how it goes. We'll put that Dive Brawl theory to the test, because there is only one tank now, which, well, as I'm trying to explain, that looks like Ringer gets a nice little diff on a Derpy Shark, sorry.
Yeah, but Resolve trades it back immediately on with the pick on the Kieksmon Swig with the wall there, beautiful wall from Resolve. Like Choi said, I quote unquote, I believe you said that Choi believes that Resolve is Jesus Christ himself or something along those lines. And Halifile gets a fire strike on a Grisha. That's a snipe, or Grisha just blinked into the face of Halifile there.
All tactical. That was done on the blueprint right there. Halifile not stopping there. Presses the aggression and the wall from Resolve. Yeah, knocks out Ringer right there. A nice little DPS stuff right there, but not out just yet. Ultimate's coming up. I think this is going to be a little bit of a patient game right here.
It's going to be a patient game, and also since Pride is playing so grouped together, Kieksmon really can't execute a dive because once he tries to jump in, Resolve can just wall off the main source of healing being the Ana, and Window Ari comes out here, and that forces Kieksmon back. Hitting gets caught by the fire strike from Halifile there too.
Both Lucio's traded. It is a 4v4, albeit a very slow, and you've lost your Lucio. You can't really be as mobile as you may want, but a nice little sleep on Halifile causes some disruption. Looks like they'll take advantage of that. A nice little split opportunity taken, and Expensive is out, so is Derpy Shark. Sandy is out, but as you can see in the top right screen right there, 3 kills for the Monkey Mayhem of Space Created.
Yeah, Nano came out from Sandy there on the Kieksmon's leg before they went down, but I see Sandy going over to a Baptiste. This means ranged healing not really gonna be a thing for Kieksmon unless Sandy can nail those lobs with the grenades there. But Pride coming in the next fight with a couple ultimates. Space created both teams pretty even in ultimates on the board. Really depends on if Grisha can get like an early pick or force that immortality field out from Expensive early here.
Yeah, they're gonna have to play kind of differently than how Pride was holding it. Yeah, you can see this kind of high ground, this kind of split maneuver. Ooh, Grisha actually, yeah, pops off with a nice little pulse bomb on the Layla. That's a lot of Lucio. This is support kind of down. Now the advantage is taken, the momentum is being made, and 3 kills down from the side of Pride right there. Ringer taking it away with 2 right there to end it off.
Yeah, the good news for Pride there is they didn't use any ults. Space Graded used Primal and Pulse Bomb. And Ringer does have that Deadeye, but Deadeye is more used as like a zoning tool right now than to get value, since you're stationary. Sure, you take like I think 25 or 30% less damage while you're in casting Deadeye, but still you're just a sitting duck at that point. And Resolve has that Blizzard, so pretty much anybody that they catch with the Blizzard here is gonna be value.
Ooh, but Ringer catches Expensive right there. That is a pretty costly pick, I may dare say. Hidden coming up on a beat, so they do kind of have that defensiveness, but it looks like that zoning Deadeye just got them the point right there.
Yeah, they may be down their bat, but Resolve used the Blizzard, but didn't catch anybody with it. And ooh, big shatter though from Hallow. They might be able to turn it.
Yeah, this is quite the shake 'em up. That point being flipped was actually ginormous, and now they're really trying to make it work with their composition. You saw on the right side them kind of making use of the sightlines right there. Now, oh, actually, Sandy, nice little headshot, Baptiste differential onto Expensive. Poor guy just came back into the fight, back out right there. Now Halifile down. There's some fantastic pressure. They really played that kind of fantastically given their composition.
Yeah, and Pride invested almost everything into that fight. Expensive does have that window coming up, but unside space created. Ringer has gone over to the soldiers, probably because they were just trying to get back to formability. Sandy has that window. Grisha has a pulse bomb, and Grisha did pick off Layla last time with that pulse bomb, even though it wasn't a sick. I think it was just a ground bomb, and Layla just jumped into it. But pulse bomb, I don't know who that stuck. I think that might have been an attempt to kill off Resolve there, but Derpy trades with Kieksmon there.
It might have gone into the iceberg or the immortality field. Either way, it is now a 4v4. Ultimate's coming out from Sandy, trying to get some window on this off angle here. Really trying to make Pride kind of think twice about capturing this point. They're trying to push this advantage, but fantastic positioning from Halifile and a nice Maywall. It's going to secure that kind of point presence. Now Halifile taking down Grusha right there as Keeg is coming back on the ram, but I think it might be dare I say a little bit too late here.
Still too late. Grisha and Hidden already down, and Ringer is next to follow. But yeah, just very good play from Halifile. They're being able to kite the window damage, because if she falls there, then that map's going the side of space created. But probably just know how to play that brawl really well, and I think the dive did work a little bit for the side of space created on the catching the rotations out, but once Pride had that point and was playing so grouped together, Kieksmon Swig was just getting blown up as he tried to jump in and try to execute anything. So this as far as Sanctum goes, which is the next area here, Sanctum is more of a poke slash dive point. You can play Brawl on it, but since there's a giant death put, since there's like multiple angles you can be poked at, I don't think Pride's gonna stay with that Brawl, as I can't see what either team's running right now. Oh, there we go.
nice little scenic, breathe it in, a zen moment, some meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pride's still going to be running something kind of what they ran. Looks like they're going to be running a little bit of a Hanzo now, but Space Created with that Ramacho might be trying to, yeah, they're going to be fighting for this kind of offsides here.
So let's see, Rom can beat Reinhardt in the Brawl because his punches do go through the shield of Hellfire, but they identify that Ringer is the problem and just run him down.
Sheesh, that was kind of critical right there from Resolve. A nice little wall. Layla picking up 2 on the Lucio right there. That's gonna be a bit of a reset, I dare say. But Space Created coming back with Grusha on the Tracer. I think last point they had a little bit of like they went off on those kind of offsides.
A couple switches coming through here.
Yeah.
Hidden goes over to the Mercy, Ringer over to the Hanzo, Grusha over to the Pharah. They're trying to run the Pharmacy inside Sanctum here, which it can be done, but Expensive's the only person who can really realistically put pressure onto the Pharmacy, but Resolve and Derpy can probably prove me wrong and like take the Pharmacy out of the sky. Grusha takes out Derpy instead.
Resolve does take out Grusha though. It is a bit of a 4v4 right here. Hidden heals it back up with a nice little resurrect. That Pharmacy coming in clutch here. Derpy Shark swapping over the Cassie trying to deal with it, but for now it looks like the point presence is being made for Space Created. Although Halifal coming out with playing very slow, which has rewarded them with nobody dying on their side. Another wall comes out with Barrage trying to get some use, but it looks like Resolve. A fantastic anti-fire performance right there, and now Space Created in a little bit of a pickle.
Oh no! Yeah, and Space Created probably just played that extremely well. Just having Expensive and Layla play back inside that lower corridor, and just having Halifile just tap the point every now and then. And then when the Barrage comes in, Halo's shield is at full health for the most part, and there's a wall up it too, so they can't collapse on any of the people that are stuck inside that room. And Resolve just takes out the Pharah, who is basically not sitting but flying, or she's just stationary in Barrage.
She's chilling. Yeah, that was the fantastic stuff, and now they have ultimates. I mean, both sides do, but it looks like the aggression is going to be pressed from the side of Pride right there. Fantastic Blizzard takes down the tank of Space Creator right there. This is going to be a bit of a pickle considering there's only like 8% left. Sandy does find a nice little trade right there. It is going to be a 4v4. They do have point presence possible. They have that Far Mercy. Anything could happen with Far Mercy. Trying to get down Resolve does succeed, and nice little jackets in as well. The beat and slam coming out, but it's more... more of
Halo just tried to shatter the Pharah.
Hey, you never. Next patch, buddy. But that's a really good rebound from Space Creator right there, and they got us some crucial ultimates. They might be trying to make this a little bit of a reverse sweep, I dare say.
Yeah, Cubong Swag does have that Annihilation. Grusha nearing the Barrage, Sandy with the window. Pride expended Shatter, which didn't hit anything because I think Hala was trying to catch the Pharah as she hit the ground. And Layla did expend the beat as an attempt to try to save Resolve, who did get cut on the point. But Expensive does have that window, and Derpy has the Deadeye, which Pharmacy does not like either one of those.
Absolutely not. They got to play a little bit more safe here. Yeah, you can already see Grusha kind of playing around this Lucio Boop area. Oh! Derpy, that was fantastic. Does catch him out right before they can catch cover, but point presence is still had. Ringer on this really good off angle for Hanzo, really kind of slowing down the kind of momentum Pride wants to start here. Pride's still trying to start it. They got a window down. Ooh, and they got Heat down. That's going to be kind of crucial heading into this. Yeah, Derpy picking up 2 yet again, kind of popping off on the Cowboy.
Yeah, the Deadeye take. Sure, Halo did die, but Derpy taking down the Pharmacy, and well, that's just a last-ditch effort to try to get anything done with the Barrage there, but Pride played very well. Pride playing that very well. Usually the way you beat the Pharmacy is to play faster, but Pride just played a little bit slower, just like didn't allow Grusha to get anything done in that Pharmacy at all whatsoever. Ringer doesn't get to play the game with that Hanzo, but as soon as Pride pretty much have identified what the main issue is for them to deal with, they pretty much have eliminated the main threat off the board, whether it was Ringer on that Hanzo or Grusha on that Pharah.
Dealing with those DPS when went kind of hard. But also, you know, every time I see Nepal, I'm just kind of like, well, it's Nepal. Well, it's kind of like it's obviously like it's more like complicated. It's got more like depth. But I mean, you saw a lot of these different kind of situations. How in my opinion, I thought Space Creative were doing pretty well there. But I think Pride on the Reinhardt was the main kind of thing. Do you think that heading into the next kind of maps, or do you think Space Creative have to take that kind of brawl, or do you think they can keep kind of playing this kind of like take advantage of like offsides, off angles? Because it did work in some scenarios. It was just kind of a case in Nepal for me. But what would you say?
The Ramontra can beat the Reinhardt in the mirror in like the brawl scenario, but Ryan can brawl no matter what. Rom can only brawl for about like this 6 or 7 second window that he's in Nem form before he goes back into his frail Omnic form. So it's all about like just catching people as Ramontra and then going to the Nem form. And then again, Space Created were not running that May like to cut off anybody like this side of Pride were. So Pride just had like more of the brawl advantage since they could cut off the rotations, they could split the team, all that. And if Space Creative want to like more go this dive / poke brawl style, well, 2 of the maps kind of do favor the dive. Being 2 of the next hybrid maps do kind of go towards that poke or dive style, being Paricio and Hollywood. I will say I'll be surprised if Space Creator decides to go to Eichenwald, but you can put the Pharmacy on Eichenwald first and second. You just don't want to play it on third, because if you're playing it on third, I don't know what drugs you're on.
Hey, you never know when you get countered by a Bastion on the Chandelier, a classic strat.
I don't even think you can get up there anymore unless you have your Symmetra TP up there right now, because you can't rocket jump because it's not... Well, you can rocket jump, but I don't think you get enough height with the grenade.
You gotta do it off a May wall. but yeah, I think that's gonna be seeing what maps they play specifically. Don't necessarily know which one they're going to go to next, but given so far, they did play that Pharmacy, they did play Ramatsu, they did play Winston, they kind of played everyone but kind of Reinhardt. But I think what kind of support lineups do you think that could really help the kind of front line? Because they wanted to play split, they wanted to play opportunistic. Do you think something more like Lucio, Speedy, or do you think something more like damage amplification-y?
I think the BAP is a little bit odd choice sometimes because the lob, you can miss the grenade. Ana, it seems like the more the support they would like to run, but because the Pride kind of did a good job of just completely negating any sightlines that Sandy had, that forced them off the Ana. But all 3 hybrid maps you can play the Ana on. Paricio's like one of the Paricio and Blizzard World. I would say those 2 are like the stronger ones for Ana since it's more dive / poke central. I would say that I believe that for Space Creator, this side of Space Creator, Keeksmon Swag, to my knowledge, was an off tank in Overwatch 1. So I don't think that Reinhardt is in their hero pool, or they are still in the process of learning it. But the map has been selected, and Space Creator has elected to go to Eichenwald, which you can run the dive or the Ramattra in Eichenwald with that Pharmacy. It is a little bit easier since the first point of Eichenwald is so open, and so is second. And this is the case where you want to play faster if they're running Pharmacy. You want to just, like, speed, just don't allow the Pharmacy to get any poke pressure and just speed onto their supports or whoever, any, like, target that just has no mobility whatsoever. But for Pride, probably just going to run that brawl again. Space Creator probably either coming out with the Ramattra comp that they ran a Sanctum there, or they're going to come with a dive with Pharmacy.
Well, there.
Oh, never mind.
There goes everything out the window.
Everything out the window, because I did not realize They Call Me M has been subbed in for Keegsmong Swag there. Oh. So They Call Me M. This is a complete mirror of both team comps, which I have not seen Space Creators brawl with the Reinhardt. So we'll see if they can it is better, or at least a little, or can get some stuff done. Because Resolve with those May walls to cut off anybody on Nepal. That's already a problem for Space Created, is that Resolve has been really good on that May so far. Also, besides Pride, Shen has been subbed in for Derpy Shirt.
Derpy Shirt. Let's go. That's cool. Yeah, it looks like they're going to be playing Eichenwald a little bit differently than Nepal. A bit of a mirror, as you said. It's going to be interesting to see how Pride go about kind of defending here. Space Creative looking to make some space. But I think they're both kind of playing out the May walls here. It's interesting to see how they're used on Eichenwald from King's Row, but some things never change. does knock out Resolve right there. Now both Maywell's out. Oh, but actually expensive losing Immortality Field there. Halophile, you can see, is playing a little bit more defensive now, but I think it's maybe too little too late. They Call Me Mean is in their team, and there it goes.
Yeah, and Space Gradient just had a faster rotation. It kind of caught. It probably just didn't see. Probably just looked a little bit caught off guard of how fast that Space Gradient got through the choke, because they were probably expecting They Call Me M to show themselves first and get the wall and get an easy kill on the Reinhardt. And Resolve overextends a little bit in front of their tank and gets killed for it. And now, since that fight was kind of a staggered fight, Space Gradient has taken the castle, and oh no, Halo's got walled.
Ooh, yeah, that's brush. It looks like They Call Me is doing really well in the close quarters, close encounters, as you can see with a nice slam, some picks coming in. Ooh, but a nice reverse from Halophile actually finds about 4 members off the side of Space Created are out. Now they're trying to make their way to the cart with only hidden Lucio on there. A nice fantastic swoop.
Oh,
nice
one more shot.
That was a really good reverse from Halophile right there.
Yeah, it's gonna stall the cart a little bit, but both teams did trade shatters. Resolve with a nice headshot onto Hidden there, so that's gonna completely. I don't think Space Cave might get out of this alive, but thanks to that Maywall. But if that was a massive pick off there from Resolve to stop more time off the clock for Space Creator.
Absolutely. You're going to be holding a little bit more closer now. You're coming up on some crucial ultimates. Looks like they're just kind of both playing each other out. These Maywells seem to be very crucial, but it looks like a Blizzard is out. Mortality Field out. Looks like nobody's going to die. It looks like both Ryan's are going to die at the same time, actually. Now, but no really Immortality Field for the side of Space Created. They're kind of just chilling now. They do have a little bit of a spawn advantage. Maybe it looks like they're going to press it, actually. Yeah. Window on top of the wall. I haven't seen that in a hot second, but looks like nobody's really necessarily lost the fight yet. I think they're just kind of waiting.
Yeah, both Blizzards came out at the same time, so both Rhines got frozen about the same time, both melted about the same time, which was kind of funny. But both sides basically even all charge. The only thing is Hellfile is a little faster to charge that Shatter than They Call Me M right now, but it gets walled off. Both teams still have that dead. Shenshin falls down.
Tactical. Wanted to dodge that massive Hellfile shatter right there. Knocking down about 3 members, and now, yeah, it looks like the high ground was actually just totally taken by Pride right there. I think Space Creative were in a little bit of a loop after losing the Ryan at the start.
Yeah, losing the Ryan at the start. They Call Me M started out very strong, but now has been MTD twice with as far as blocking Earth Shatters go.
Dang, keeping count. That's crazy. Space Created now have 2 support ultimates. So, technically nothing could possibly ever go wrong with 2 support ultimates. Now they're going to be rushing up that castle. Another kind of close encounters kind of fight. Both support ults coming out. Looks like it's going to be pretty much trades with They Call Me M coming out very much on top. They're a little bit salty about that MTD earlier. They're going to take one pretty strong right there.
Yeah. Resolve actually invests the Blizzard into there too, and Layla invests Beat, and Pride's turning after losing, I believe. They lost 3 players at the start of that fight, although Shenshin did pick off 2 at the beginning with his Deadeye. So it was, I think, a 2v2 up on that bridge area, and Pride able to turn it with the Resolve's Blizzard. I would, like, for the top tier Discord teams, watch out. Resolve is scary.
I was gonna say, Pride is indeed pretty surprising. Now, yeah, Space Creative, they're forced to take this kind of very direct to high ground approach. They said, screw the castle, we'll take it up the tower. Now that with the Shatter, you can actually do that. The main wall is out to kind of separate them. Looking for a kind of opening, but Hellfile, again, a really good defensive Reinhardt. Doesn't get a lot of, no Shatters either, really finding a lot of value, but They Call Me M does find one, and that's, hey, both DPS out. And now, Lila's out too. That was actually really good from They Call Me M on the aggression. They're kind of picking up on Hellfile's tactics right there, and Pride looks to be a more defensive favored team.
Yeah, Expensive gets a pick on the Ringer, but that's gonna be a stagger. And but I believe both Shatters came at the same time, and I believe both got blocked by Resolve's Maywall. So, good play from Resolve to block They Call Me M's, but also blocking Hallows at the same time. So, a little bit of a friendly fire there. Resolve does almost have that Blizzard again, but Grisha is first to pull the trigger with theirs, and Hallows split completely away from their team now.
Yeah, and no Mei walls for either side. Grusha does find a pick on a Layla. Both Mei's finding picks, but I think Lucio might be a little bit of a hurdle right here. But you're not out just yet. Sandy does find one on the cowboy, but this everyone's just kind of converging on the point here, which is very dangerous if you're the side of Space Created, because Resolve just chucked in a nice little blizzard right there, nice little pin just to show that Reinhardt who's boss, who's really in control, hidden knocked out, and now that was a really good blizzard coming out from Resolve right there. Actually, it was very much splitting up the side of Space Created to the point they have to back out.
Yeah, Space Created didn't really clean up that fight as well as they wanted to. Halifile didn't die, neither did Expensive. Expensive able to get that win will keep their tank up. But they are kind of going a little bit too far into the spawn of Space Created, and Resolve does get picked for it. So that might come back to bite them as they call me M Shatters directly into his shield.
Stuff. And not technically just this out yet. There's just a lot of pressure, playing very close to these inside buildings, which is love to see. This is some traditional Reinhardt beef, by the way. I haven't seen this in a hot second. Absolutely love it. Looks like both Mei walls gonna be coming out. The beat's going to come out. A shatter comes out, and that's ginormous.
That's the third one. Sorry. You gotta block those. You gotta block those. That's the third one that Halifile has hit to They Call Me M's 1.
Shenshin picking up the nice little cowboy differential right there as well. A nice little cherry on top for that nice little round win right there for the side of it's Pride. And with 123 meters, I mean, you're basically at the second checkpoint, so I wouldn't be too stressed out if I was the side of a Space Created.
Yeah, I won't be too stressed out besides the fact that it is winnable for the side of Space Created. However, take into consideration that Space Created, I believe, had like a 5-minute plus time bank to get it there. As you can see on the screen right now, you can see what the time bank was before this happened, and that one counter shatter from Halifile swung the momentum into the side of Pride immediately there. And sure, Space Created did win a couple fights to get it almost a second there, but just a couple of things where you gotta kill Resolve. Fights where Pride was down a couple, Resolve just decides to become Jesus and kill everything.
That's the quote for the day. And I think a really crucial part is that Shenshin playing around it really well. I mean, Lucio, the support line is, making everything work fluidly. But I think Shenshin, that kind of subtlety, I love that kind of play style of on the front line with Halifile, but also has that kind of little bit of off angle. But yeah, this is gonna be interesting.
Layla and Resolve with the pharmacy taking a page out of Space Created's book. Expensive on the Moira. This is a mobility-based comp.
Moira.
As Moira did get a change in Season 4. You can fade while in Coalescence now. But they were just I think a little bit of trolling on the side of Pride. They probably realized their feature and then they're trolling the crap out of both of us. Please do not ring around Loki to do me.
Oh man, yeah, it's gonna be another bit of a mirror matchup. Shenshin falling pretty low right there, but a late Maywall actually hits him a little bit on the edge. Halifile tries to take it, but looks like Space Created now on this kind of defense. They are kind of holding this pretty strongly here. They use that immortality field, really trying to zone out people. They're trying to find a kind of little opening here, but I think they're also kind of waiting for the side of Pride to really just spread out over the point, split themselves out over time with the kind of pressure. Looks like a nice, fantastic Mail just does just that. Knocks out Halifile right there, hidden. Nice little pick right there. Sandy, the supports from the side of Space Created, creating some space.
No pun intended.
No. Oh,
yeah,
that was good.
It was looking a little bit scared, looking a little bit dire there for Space Created. In the opening fight, They Call Me M almost just got melted by the Fan the Hammer from Shen now. They Call Me M does have that shatter, and Hallow, a little slow to build it right now, but the Space Created does have the ultimate economy a little bit better as far as the tank and supports go, but Pride coming up on both DPS very soon, and that would don't go back in front of the window, guys.
That poor window and that poor shatter. Space Created kind of getting a little stuffed in the ultimate economy right here. Pride trying to take this presence with Pride, trying to kind of just chilling, making the use of that window. Ooh, Hidden gets caught out. Oh, I think yeah, that was a beautiful Shenshin right there. Nice little off angle pick, and now the cowboy maneuver. Oh, that's a ringer diff right there.
Yeah, and a little bit like the change to Cassidy where he takes less damage while in that Deadeye animation there. Unfortunately for Shen, that happened there, but the good news for Pride is they only expended one ultimate for Space Created's 3. With
that, Space Created having a beat first. I mean, they may try and be on the more defensive here because you know they got a Blizzard too, but Pride, you know, they're chilling out like 4 ultimates. I think they've got this one written in the books. I think they've got a pretty good game plan for this. Alpha walking sturdy, walking forward with that shatter. But the Blizzard comes out. This might be a little bit dangerous. The beat comes out, but might be a little bit too late for the side of Pride.
A little bit. But that might be big as far as next fight goes, as Resolve again kills both supports on his own. Now Space Grade has no supports left. Expensive is all caught out though on her own, as Hidden and Sandy should be back in time to heal up that damage. And Pride, this is last fight for them.
Yeah, it's gonna be a shatter beat. Oh well, actually, Lila does have that beat, which is over Hiddens, which is pretty advantageous. I may dare say. I think it looks like they're gonna be trying to go for a bit of a rotation play here. Yeah, that shield is like deleted instantly, but a fantastic wall coming out from the side of Russia, almost catching. Yeah, forces out beat, forces out slam,
and that's a 4-man.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That was a really good rotation. Space Creator tried to cut that off, but at the end of the day, Pride coming out on top.
Yeah, Expensive really clutched there with the Immortality Field in order to save Hallow. And Hallow again hits another Earth Shatter onto, I believe, 4 players of Space Created there and unlocked that point. Considerably less time than Space Created had going to the second there, but there's one thing that I've seen with Pride is once they get the momentum in their favor, they don't let go. And Space Created had a little bit of an issue on their attack, trying to wrestle that momentum back into their favor.
So let's see how it goes for this attack. Oh. Space Creator totally just ate all that momentum. Momentum
who, and also don't jump when Deadeye's going on. I saw Expensive jump in the air, out of her Immortality Field.
That's an expensive mistake. Love the names in this lobby, but I mean both Mays have Blizzard. How do you think they're gonna start the fight with her, or do you think it's gonna happen like as a counter or something?
I would say that Gersha immediately goes for it because Expensive's out the fight. Great wall from Resolve, like to try to block off the follow up, and now Resolve uses theirs, and this is Resolve again. Resolve is just he has been the one thorn in the side of Space Created thus far. Every single fight that Space Created looks like they've had in the bag, or most of the fights that Space Created look like they've had the advantage, Resolve just says, nah, I'm gonna put the team on my back and carry.
It's so sneaky too. Like if you try and just go after Mei, especially in this mirror kind of lineup, it's super hard because there's just so many abilities. There's so many different times that where the team will heal for it. Grusha's sweating. But looks like the ultimate's gonna come out from the side of Pride. Oh my goodness gracious, that was beautiful. Well, Kepri would applaud.
I think great coordination from Pride there. I believe Resolve walled up Shenshin, so then he had a higher vantage point to see the rest of Space Creators as they tried to come in there. And Pride, well, they're gonna go up 2-0 off the back of that massive combo from the DPS line of Pride. And Space Created, this is dire straits for Space Created now, as Pride's on match point, and Space Created now has to reverse sweep if they want a chance in order to take this match.
Honestly, I would very much say a doable situation. Space Created may have lost these last 2 matches, but you saw there was quite the fight, especially on the several attacks they took on Eichenwald. You saw a lot of sauce come out. Maybe not a lot of sauce worked, but it seems like they really know how to go head to head with Pride.
How to go head to head, but Pride has identified the problem being a ringer at times. Space Creators has yet to deal with or at least mainly deal with Resolve, who on both maps have basically turned fights 1v5 at times, or at least in a down player situation they have turned fights. Resolve is the main problem for Space Created right now, and I can see why that Choi is really hyped up on this guy.
At least 3 times, some fight turning stuff. Resolve showing great resolve. Especially in the mirror matchup, which is so different from how Nepal was in its entirety. Love to see it. Got to see a lot of Reinhardt play, which absolutely just savor that kind of stuff. Love to see that on Eichenwald. It's been a hot second, been about a season or so. Oh my goodness gracious, Shenson tried it. But I think overall, what would you kind of say Space created? Like, obviously they have to, they got to deal with Resolve. I think that's probably what they're gonna spend the entire halftime, making an essay about. But
Deal
exactly
with Resolve.
how
That's
would you
it.
go? How would you go about dealing with Resolve?
Well,
Would you
Resolve.
change the support lineup or?
I mean, the fights where the supports have been dead, Resolve just thrives. So
Mm,
honestly, with Resolve being the way he is, he's probably like the one. He's basically the Thanos of Pride right now, and just won't die.
that's true. So would you prefer like a? Do you think a dive would work or something more like a
They gotta somehow force his ice block
clinical?
early.
Clinic.
They
Okay.
have to either force. There have been a couple times where he has overextended a little bit, and they've been able to punish him. But once he like realizes what the mistake he's made has been made, he usually doesn't do it again. So he adapts really good on the fly there. And Space Grenade just they like so many fights there that they're up like 3 or 4 players, and then Resolve just says no.
No Megalol. And yeah, they're oh my god, there's some fantastic player performance from so many different people this entire time. We're gonna send it over to a halftime. I'm a little bit sweaty. This is a bit of a heater, Dench. Yeah, I might dare say. We're gonna take this 10-minute halftime break. Go get some popcorn. Go get some I don't know, hot cocoa. Chill out, because this is Tranquility. We'll be right back. What's good, everybody? Hope you had a fantastic halftime break. I sure did. Denji, was that halftime break good?
Yep, and Space created dire do or die for them right now. Pride on match point, and Space created has selected to go to Havana, which of all the 3 maps in the escort pool, have you ever seen the close holds people would pull off on Havana back in Overwatch 1 with the Brawl? Looking at Pride, how good they've been on the Brawl, I wouldn't be surprised if they decide to try to spawn camp Space created.
That's true, especially with how hard those Reinhardts went. Like, honestly, any composition. We're gonna see who's on attack and defense here. See if there's any swaps or whatever. But holding breaths. Yeah, look at that. Havana daytime mode. But I think some close holds, because we've also seen that kind of be more popularized in the Overwatch League and stuff, like just kind of holding like maybe not even after losing the spawn hold, a lot of people go for that kind of first point hold anyway. So
the goal,
what kind of
the goal of the spawn hold is just to burn as much time off the clock as possible, make the enemy team invest as much as possible just to break the spawn hold.
Oh, okay.
Because if you play the spawn hold correctly and do force enough the team to invest a lot more and more just to get the time bank down, usually teams don't even get the cart. If the spawn hold is played very well, teams usually don't even get the cart around the first corner or like where the box is, kind of where Hallow is standing right now on your screen. But like I predicted, Pride going with their close hold Brawl, as also on the side of Space Create, Keegsmong Swag is back in for They Call Me M.
Ooh. I'm probably gonna get baited. Probably not gonna be running double sniper. But look at this lineup. Look at how sneaky deaky. If we had Scooby Doo right now, they would not be able to find this mystery gang right here. This is some hidden. This is some subtle technique. This isn't like the traditional area where you full hold spawn either. Like they're kind of. This is wow. This is Brazen.
Yeah, and Space Create identifying this close hold already, and Ringer and Hidden going over to the pharmacy. Which, the way they countered the close hold was pharmacy back then, but like, the problem is, never mind, Grisha just picks off Shen already with a nice headshot there.
Looks like Grisha's sticking on the Hanzo and does time quite the value. 2 picks for right there, and looks like this full hold spawn that we were talking about might not work in the end. For no particular reason.
Yeah, I Space Creator probably suspected the full hold, close hold, and just didn't walk out. They kind of just like Ringer and Hidden walk out on one of the doors, and they took the other side door. Like they split into 3 groups, so then it was like hard for anybody to go on one area. But both teams switching to mirror the Sigma Poet comp. The only difference Resolve being on the Soldier 76 and Gersha on the Hanzo.
That might be a bit of a mix-em-up. Space Grid, I was playing those kind of... Ooh, that was close. Now the shield down from the side of Halopile. They gotta play a little bit cautious. They do have time. They do have this kind of point presence, map presence. Grusha coming up pretty close on the Dragon, so it looks like, this is gonna be pretty pokey, but neither team losing any members. But Grusha, again, finds a nice opener, a headshot onto Shen right there.
Yeah, Grisha looking very strong in that Hanzo. Takes and Ringer then follows it up with the back on the expensive. Most of these escort type maps, especially the long range ones, which all 3 in this pool are long range, the team who has the better snipers usually wins. Seeing that Pride likes to run up from Brawl and Resolve not really willing to play at Hanzo, now goes over to the Tracer, which kind of works actually against the poke, because if you're annoying is pulling like the attention like 2 or 3 people in the backline, or just straight up picking Ringer off. Ringer, this is gonna be a little tougher for Space Creator to deal with, since Resolve already scary in that May, probably even more scary than pretty much anything he touches at this point.
Yeah, I think Pride they recognize the kind of threat Grusha is, and the Ringer making it even harder. So I think Resolve swapping on this Tracer, fantastic kind of choice. Hidden is the 3rd sniper for Space Creator right there, knocking a nice little headshot into Shenchen right there. But it looks like Resolve going to be putting some pressure onto Grusha right there, about half HP. Sandy trying their heart out right there, heal him back up. Looks like it is going to work. Is going to alleviate that Tracer presence and alleviate it even more with a nice little jump shot onto Resolve. That's going to be a bit of a 5v4 scenario. Pride just kind of staying chilling here.
Yeah, and the Dragon cuts Halopile off, but Expensive can still heal from the window. This is really aggressive from the side of Space Creative, but it's working as That didn't get eaten by Keegs somehow, but Resolve got 2. The second one was himself, though.
A classic. Does find some value. It does alleviate. It looks like they're not going to press past that kind of choke point, and they've only really got Grusha up there at that choke. It looks like Halifax was kind of zoning side. They do have time. They got about 3 minutes. It looks like I mean, both support ults for the side of Pride here. You're not just out of it, so it looks like an opening is trying to be made. Ringer on this classic Cabana spot, though. Knocks one into Layla. Now Sandy, a Baptiste differential hidden, kicks it into Resolve. This is looking a little bit gritty here.
Yeah, but the silver lining sort of for Pride is that third point is so open that it is a little bit harder, especially. It's a little bit easier for Shen to get like sight lines. Resolve finally decides to give it and go over to that Hanzo pick, and the good Pride haven't really not used that many ultimates. They have 3 right now to Space Created's 1, but the one that Space Created do have counters out Halophiles. And Shen finally gets the Widow diff on the Ringer there.
Tried it. Yeah, I'm loving the mirror composition. The double snipers on third point. Resolve gets a nice differential to Grusha right there. 3 assists as well. Nice little headshot followed up onto Sandy right there. And a nice little Sigma differential right there.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness gracious. Diffs happening left, right, and center. Shen knocks one to Ringer. And now they've got this. It looks like, I dare say, they have some control here.
They have control, and they also have given Shen this overlook here, which is really, really suppressing. The only way, like, pretty much to get Shen out of there is to try to kill him or to put a shield in his face, but Shen immediately takes out Sandy, so Space Created already probably forced to back off a little bit down that Baptiste.
Yeah, hidden. Oh, I mean, it does find a nice little reverse. I love these two teams because you think after the first pick, then someone else gets another one. Nice little 4v4 here. 3 minutes. Yeah, pressure taken off from the high ground here. Now it's kind of just a kind of hallway, kind of driveway right into each other's sight lines. Shen drives them right into Ringer's head, and now this kind of shield is gone from the side of Keeg. Now it looks like the pressure is back up in the game, but it looks like, yeah, I think Pride here, they don't really have a tank. So, I think that's why Space Created is moving forward despite all the picks.
Despite all the picks, yeah, Hallow pushed a little bit too far, but Resolve does have that Dragon just to send him down main, just for Space Created out way. Or catch Keegs, who is kind of pushed up, but backing off now.
Yeah, that was a nice little just, oh man, ooh, that's actually kind of detrimental right there. Ringer finding a nice little headshot to Shen's running right there. Now, Ultimate's coming into play, Dragons forces out Transcendence from the side of Space Created. Grisha half HP, but it looks like everyone's just kind of converging on this point from the side of Space Created, while the high ground is had for Pride. It looks like Ringer grapples up to try and take it away, but it looks like too late. Resolve takes out Hidden right there. Not very hidden, in plain sight on the top right of your screen right there. And now the pressure is on from the side of Resolve right here. About a 1v2 right there.
That's not where they wanted to go.
Not exactly.
No one can hide from me.
Yeah, and oh, nice shot from Shen there. Keeg's investing the flux here. This is a little bit questionable since basically Keeg's just trying to do his best Resolve impression, trying to turn the fight when they're down a couple players. And Space Created did expend a couple ults and now they're getting staggered as Expensive finds the BAP diff onto Sandy there. Pride. The good news for Space Created is that third point on any escort map is the hardest point to cap. They got through the easiest areas of Havana, and now it's pretty much up to Ringer and Gersha to get more picks off, get a couple more pickoffs in order to seal this, or at least get the cart a little bit further if they want to have a chance at full capping here, or forcing the full cap scenario for the side of Pride.
I love these jump shots from both these Widows too. So I love that confident brassiness. Although a very aggressive window from Sandy, a fantastic 2 picks right there. No DPS from the side of Pride. This is a little bit of a sticky situation. Halfa did try to rebound it with a nice little flex, but it looks like now they are kind of giving a run for their money right now. They are on the defense side. They're trying to hold this. They've got time, albeit 40 seconds, and not too many ultimates to play with. Does have a Dragons. Now it looks like Ringer going for another little jump shot, but looks like Pride are still maintaining this kind of defense here. A nice little frontline pressure is pressed, and now, yeah.
I think Sandy fell off the map there, or like got forced off of the map by the Dragon Strike from Resolve. Again, Resolve has like been the main problem they did like a good job of dealing with him on first and second, but now third Resolve basically like said, okay, I'm pissed now, and I'm gonna just do what I did on Eichenwald and Nepal again. And Shen picks up Ringer. Shen's kind of like been the silent threat on the side of Pride over here with that Widowmaker as gets a quick double kill there. I meant silent as in
Silence.
I haven't said anything about Shen whatsoever because Resolve has like been killing mostly everything except for now when Shen like just picks up I think 4 of the 5 players that are remaining on the side of space created there.
Holy guacamole, that was great. So many jump shots as well coming out from both of those sides. How? Okay, so first of all, I realized during that last point because it was just so scenic, so many segments being held, so many staring contests as I like to call them. That third point of Havana, very similar to Circuit Royale, even down to the everyone running double sniper kind of pokey kind of position, down to that kind of that kind of left turn or whatever, very similar to Circuit Royale. I just had to point that out. But how would you say Space Created did for that attack? Because they had a lot of time yet again, but it seems like they couldn't get to that very end. Kind of like Eichenwald.
Yeah, like I said, like once Pride has a grasp of momentum or are swinging fights, Space Creator just kind of don't really have an answer to swing the momentum back into their favor. They had about like 5+ minutes going into another point, being third point there, and didn't fully cap it. They did get it pretty far. I think right underneath the archway of third point. So nothing to scoff at in terms of how far you get the card at Havana, but Pride. Okay, Hollow was just trolling me. I was like, Pride was showing the side of a Winston for a little bit there, but again, a complete mirror matchup in terms of comps here. As Space Creator's not gonna try what Pride did and go for the spawn hold.
No, they're gonna let them come out. I think they're playing at pick potential here. I think they're just that confident, the kind of range kind of game. I'll love to see it. Looks like they are a nice little sonar. They do get that scout. Looks like this is gonna be a very very tense kind of beginning here for this Havana attack from the side of Pride.
Yeah, as Ringer does have a little more of a sightline advantage as Gen has to rely on his team to get him space in order to move up and have a little more of a sightline. I believe Ringer is back on that. Yeah, Ringer just has like a little more space, a lot more space to work with, in terms of sightlines. But Resolve picks him off mid-air. What a shot from him!
In mid-air, no less. Sorry, I try to say the Winston voice sign. Really good at voice signs. But yeah, that was fantastic. A trade. Now Grusha picking it up. Now it's a 4v3. Lila's out. Sandy's your really only healer at this point. Sorry. Expensive is your only healer at this point. But Resolve, nice little Hanzo differential. Is going to take care of that kind of high ground presence. And now Hidden is out. Resolve just kind of chilling on this high ground with some picks to the name.
Yeah, Resolve again. Like he is the main threat that Space Crew just haven't been able really to deal with for the most part in terms of completely shutting him down. Meanwhile, on the side of Pride, they've been really able to shut down Ringer and Gersha, and well, as I say Gersha's name, he picks off Shen from I believe that back corner in the Mega Pack area where the rest of the Space Crew are playing.
Yeah, I think I just it looks like Grusha and Ringer actually playing on kind of the way they play these kind of dual snipers. So it looks like they try and take 2 different offsides and kind of convolve it into the middle, which is kind of creative to see. Ringer knocks out Lila, Ringer knocks out Expensive right there. I think Pride might have to take some steps backwards with a nice little diff onto Halify right there. But it looks like ultimates are going to be coming into play here.
Ultimates are going to be coming into play here. Basically, have DPS ultimates in that window coming up, but Halify a lot faster to build that Flux than Keegsmonk's Wig is, and Resolve does have the Dragon, and one of the combos you can use is Dragon Flux, pulling the enemies up into the air and sending a Dragon through them as they slam the ground because they can't move. So they're up in the air and then suddenly into a Dragon. Unless Gersha decides to press the advantage with their own Dragon Strike, but Shen picks off Ringer already.
And the Dragons returned as well. Yeah, this is maybe not going exactly how Space Creative wanted. Shen picking up 2 right there. Nice little headshot. But the Flux does come out now. Maybe it doesn't have the Dragons to back it up, but it still does happen. Although Shen picks up yet another one. It looks like Space Creative now having to back up. This kind of front line kind of got destroyed from afar right there. Kind of a quirky kind of attack from the side of Pride right there.
Yeah, and I believe Keegsmonk's Fate got canceled out of their Flux by a massive accretion stun from Halifile, so Space Grid, nothing really is going their way right now.
Well, I mean, Speaking of time, Eichenwald PTSD. Maybe they have a little bit more time than the from Eichenwald, but you do have a lot more distance.
Oh!
And you got Ringer on the Widow, knocking one of the Shen right there. Resolve. Oh my goodness, great dude. This is some.
How did he
Quicker
see
Royale.
him?
Yeah.
Yeah, Resolve is just kind of Resolve like the main DPS presence on the side of Pride, but Shen has been really good on the Widowmaker too. Shen's attracting so much attention from the Ringer and Gersha that Resolve has kind of just been uncontested for the most part at times, as Ringer and Gersha seem more concerned with taking out the Widowmaker of Shen than the Hanzo of Resolve.
I feel so bad for these Sigmas, dude. You only got one shield, and it's like you've got the most vulnerable supports like ever. So it's so interesting to see how either of these teams play around their snipers. Looks like Gresha, another fantastic opening Hanzo pick, a headshot onto Shen. Looks like these angles are being very, very held tight. It looks like although the cart has now gotten about halfway through, but Space Created haven't necessarily lost the fight. And although Pride are down one player, they are still going to try and rebound this. So with Elilo transcending, looks like they're still trying to claim the high ground. And oh my goodness gracious, they're trying to take defense side.
Yeah, they just kind of push past Keegsmonk's way because the Dragon split them so hard. Keegs, investing that Flux does get Hallow, but Space Created actually looking like they're going to try to turn it for once as Gersha does his best Resolve impression and finds a couple of kills. No! Your Keegs! This is a bet of mine!
Oh my god, is this gonna do?
It's coming down to Resolve again. Resolve on that Hanzo.
Oh, 1 HP, there's no shot.
Gersha's 1 HP. Oh, finds Shen, but Resolve able to find Gersha, and now Space has backup, and Resolve is in a really tough spot.
Do it, Resolve. You won't. Actually, does make it out. Yeah, dude, fantastic. This is a banger. This is a banger. Looks like Space Created now coming up. They got Window, and they're coming up on Ringer's Infosite, but Pride is also coming up on Window. But that's about it. And only a minute left.
Only a minute left. Both teams not really having that many ultimates, and Gersha gets a big pick off there on the Layla. Now it's gonna be up to Resolve or Shen to try to find another pick to even it, but Keeks finds Resolve where I don't know where Resolve was, but somehow ends up in the face of a Sigma.
Diff. Well, not necessarily diff. Rolled. But looks like now Resolve slipping off of that Tracer. Looks like they're going to try and take this a little bit more speedy. They did this a little bit ago. Did go to some successes. I think they'll find more success on this kind of second point here. But now, oh man, it looks like Grush is showing up on this classic the Havana high ground and those canisters in the middle. Might be a little difficult for Resolve to deal with. Although Ringer, nice, fantastic diff onto the Shen. Grusha, headshot on Delilah, and now Resolve is in a little bit of a sticky situation.
Yeah, he's just trying to move the cart there, but the rest of his team is just dying around him. Space Created showing that they're not out of this yet, but it's not over yet. 20 seconds remaining for the side of Pride, and Resolve is still alive, so they can go take that cart to trigger the overtime, as Pride is coming up on that Graphitic Flux and the Pulse Bomb from Resolve, and Gersha has a Dragon just to completely split the team.
Yeah, this is looking finicky here. They only got... Oh!
Resolve didn't touch!
Oh, classic. That's a classic right there. Honestly, Space Created, that was a very fantastic, like, first of all, we've seen so many Circle Royale, we've seen so many Widows and so many Hantos. Looks like Havana, picking up on those sniper vibes very, very strongly. Really good sight lines, really good positions, really good rotations. We love this rotation where they try to take that defense side on the high ground right there. Crazy creative stuff, but I mean, it didn't end up working. But you know, just stuff like that. How do you think? How did that go to your expectations?
I didn't really know how Pride did in the poke duels. Since Space Created just seemed like they're more of a poke type team because they like to run the Ramatra, they like to run that more pokey style, especially when Keeksmonk's Swag is in. Now of course, good news, Space Created took a map. The only thing is right now they are probably gonna have to play another brawl scenario since Pride gets the map pick, and since Pride is so good at the brawl, it seems I won't be surprised if they decide to take Space Created Colosseo to try to end it.
Ooh, that's a good point. Yeah, it looked like I mean we did see Pride get a lot of like first picks, get a lot of picks, you know, just overall with like, you know, poke. But the times and places Space Created were getting theirs. I mean, right there, that was a tight shot by Ringer right there. It looked like the kind of themes for Space Created. Do you think that a Widow that like something more long range can defeat a Brawl even if it's on Coliseum, or do you think that's a little bit too out of reach?
You can play the Hanzo on Coliseum since a lot of areas are playable for Hanzo. His Dragon can go straight down corridors. The only thing is you're giving up you're giving more shield break, so that it is a little more pressure on Halophile to manage your shield correctly as on the Reinhardt, but you're giving up the close range brawl potential that the Cassidy gives.
Sweet, yeah. Okay.
And that's what Pride has looked like they wanted to do. They're just in your face brawl up in front. Halo first 2 maps really strong in that Reinhardt, so I won't be surprised if they go like the Coliseum, because Coliseum is like the main brawl push map. You can play brawl on the other 2, but you can play around the brawl and like play the dive or poke or whatever, like on each bronze New Queen Street. But we'll see what Pride decides to choose here.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. What do you think Space Created are? So, what kind of composition do you think Space Created are going to go for? Because we saw them get a lot of success on that the kind of sniper, the kind of the Circuit Royale comp. But in those first maps on Nepal, we saw so many different tank lineups. We saw them even switch tanks on Eichenwald. What do you think? Do you think then the kind of we start looking at their kind of support line and what kind of heroes would kind of best benefit what they're trying to go for, or how would you kind of say?
If they're running They Call Me Emin, that brawl backline the Lucio BAP has seemed to benefit them. But if they're running with Keeks Monk Swag, Keegs has not shown that he likes to play the Reinhardt. He likes to play more the Ramattra, the Winston, the Sigma. The best support to run with Ramattra or Winston is that Ana.
Oh yeah, okay.
Is Ana instead of BAP, since I saw I did see a little bit of Space Created in action before this game, and Sandy's Ana is pretty good, but Pride electing to go to Esperanza, so a little more space for Space Created to work with here, since it's not just this is not just like a brawl only kind of map. You can run like the Ramattra, you can run the Winston. Heck, you can even run Wrecking Ball.
It's like all the best parts of Havana combined into one right there. And I mean, this is gonna be kind of crazy. This is gonna be kind of crazy because like I feel like ever since like once it starts or whatever, or they're trying to find the first point, you saw how across the map they could Space Created could play. You saw the different angles their DPS their snipers would take, and you saw how their tank would also kind of flow with their supports. So yeah, we're gonna get something that's gonna go all across the map and all the different ways.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I saw Expensive go to Life Weaver. That's not allowed yet. Not for another 2 weeks.
I've never even seen the profile. Wow. Spoilers here in Tranquility, but looks like Halophile is bringing out the Reinhardt, and They Call Me Em is going to. This is polar opposites.
Yeah, Space Created running more of a divey divey comp, and probably just running that brawl, running what they know works for them, and They Call Me In messes up the roll a little bit, but they do get that hack onto Lele immediately here, and oh boy, the Lucio's done for.
Showed him his boss. I'm absolutely loving this. The confidence from both of these teams. This is what it's all about. It looks like, ooh, yeah, Derpy caught right out there. Fantastic coordination. Yeah, so we were just talking about the kind of ways that the DPS play with each other. Looks like we're going to see a lot more DPS and tank synergy as well. Halophile does knock one out onto Hidden, which is the Kiriko. Kind of a big deal, but like, I think Sandy's got this in the bag with like all these picks coming in. They Call Me In. Pretty dominant ball performance so far.
Yeah, Expensive goes over to the Kiriko. Resolve immediately goes over to the Sombra, so just decide, I'm gonna make They Call Me M's life miserable. Because once you get hacked on that ball, your health bar goes like from 600 to 0 in like a half a second.
Give me plat comp PTSD. Try to climb out of that, but Resolve might also be trying to get a hold on Ringer here, because Ringer going after these supports for absolutely free is a really big deal. Looks like Russia lining up a little bit of a sandwich maneuver here. Does get pressured out by Derpy Shark there, but does come out with their life. It looks like now the kind of front line is just kind of being held, kind of stagnant. Looks like Ringer does find a gnarly pick onto the Kiriko of Expensive right there. A headshot at that. that. Looks like Resolve is going to trade it out. Ooh, they call me M is out. That's actually ginormous for the side of Pride right there. Now Halifile trying to making this frontline presence made. Resolve picks up yet another pick. And it looks like Space Created have to regroup here, but Ultimate's coming into play.
Ultimate's coming into play there, and again, Resolve has just like been the Lord and Savior for Pride. Every time that somebody dies, Resolve just trades it like by killing two or three people. And again, Ringer starting on that Sombra. Resolve switches. Resolve already up to an EMP. As a pause comes in from the side of Space Created.
Oh, and he says Smarties with the coach or something. It looks like they're going to be talking about stuff. They're trying to break down this map a little bit. Look, yeah, I love the Sombra versus Sombra, but I think it's going to be kind of quirky for the side of Pride with the Sombra with the Halifile on the Reinhardt. I think it's going to be a bit of a different tempo from what Space Created's going.
A little bit different tempo, but then again, the EMP on the side of both sides can be cleansed because both sides are in the Cutico, and if anybody doesn't know, hack is counted as a negative effect, so any negative effect can be cleansed by the protection Suzu of Cutico. And as far as Halifile goes, she pretty much just has to play defensive as the Reinhardt. Ball can't really do anything to a Rein, can't really knock him all over the place because Reinhardt has the tank passive, and on top of that he has the steadfast passive too, which basically means he doesn't get booped really anywhere.
True. I think they're gonna be. Well, we've saw both teams as Kirikos get knocked out pretty early, so it looks like the supports are kind of the main dive kind of focus here. I think DPS are gonna be getting quite the strain here overall. Do you think later in the match Pride are gonna try and switch up their play style or switch up their composition at all? Because I think so far Space Created have a bit of an advantage here with their kind of speed.
Bit of an advantage, but Pride kind of has a little bit more of a speed advantage because they are starting that Lucio versus Space Created on the Kiriko Ana. So a little bit more of a stagnant backline compared to the side of Pride, who is running a little bit more of a mobility backline, a little bit more of that. The only like two stagnant characters they have are the Reinhardt and the Cassidy. But on the side of Space Created, it's gotta be whose EMP's better at this right now.
That's the name of the game here. As Pride is trying to take this lead here. Let's see if they do 3, 2, 1. Pride takes the lead right there, and it looks like this is going to be a bit of a heater here. It looks like Resolve's just kind of walking around trying to find out Ringer, but it looks like Ringer makes himself known right there. A big EMP. They come in, picks up on a Derpy Shark, is out. And now it looks like the rest of the kills are trying to be made. But it looks like, yeah, this defensive kind of setup from Pride is still giving quite the run for the money. They come in, tries to pick off Lilo right there. It looks like it's going to get followed up. The coordination from Space Created, fantastic stuff. Still only having used EMP this fight. That was a really strong performance right there.
Yeah, and Resolve just has kind of been, kind of just been annoying. They call me M, just like trying not to let them roll slam, try to not let them do what they want. As Halifile gets the pin, I wouldn't be surprised if she just solo shatters the ball. That's like pretty much the main person you can shatter in this comp besides like the Ana, but Sandy's up on the high ground, so.
Dude, that pin was low-key paced. It went through all the mines. That was a little crazy. It looks like the cowboy maneuver from Derpy Shark does find Sandy. You still have a Kiriko, still have some ultimates to play with. But it looks like Halifile, nice little fire strike on a Ringer. Derpy Shark picks up with 2 now. Grusha out of the fight. But it looks like Space Created didn't necessarily commit there. They took the lead and they just kind of said, we're chilling. So they might try and get a touch here.
Yeah, I think there's an attempt to set up a power drive hack onto Derpy Shark as he was pulling Deadeye, but just Ringer wasn't in position to, and they actually kind of killed his own Ana because it gave Derpy the vantage point to kill Sandy with being up in the air with the power drive. But now comes out onto They but he's hacked out of his power drive, so he doesn't really get any value out of it.
Oh, Russia just got crushed right there. The Halifile, the Kutsune double swing. That was rated R, but holy smokes, fantastic ultimates coming out from both sides. Pride kind of took that fight in stride. Space Created, I think Grusha having a little bit some stress here because I think Derpy Shark on the Cowboy and Resolve on the well, Resolve goes, but Grusha kills him.
He got triple teamed. He got triple teamed by 3 people. The thing with Esperanza though right now, it's like the most flippable push map in terms of like coming back from a deficit. The other two, you can't come back from a deficit. I have seen people come back from massive deficits on Coliseum and Queen Street, but Esperanza's like the main one where it's more easily turnable as Ringer, not Ringer, Resolve hit the EMP, but I think it only hit They Call Me M.
Zoning EMP, zoning EMP. And now, well, here's something that EMP was not a zoning EMP. That had some oomph to that boom. Grusha picking up 3 right there. Both supports out 4 for Grusha right there. Is that 5? Oh my goodness gracious. Holy.
Yeah, it's Grusha almost gets that 5k. They Call Me M steals it away from them. But now, Space Creative, they do have to get that checkpoint still in order and go through the butt scratch little stall as Ringer's looking to either get Layla or Derpy out of here. No, they're actually going after Expensive, even though Expensive can cleanse that effect off of herself. As Nemo Resolves in the back line trying to cause the chaos as it does cause They Call Me M to fall.
Yeah, Resolve falling on the architecture right there. Looks like... Oh man, holding my breath right there for the hack right there. Derpy Shark in a little bit of a stressful right there, but it looks like all the stress is going to be alleviated right there. Did find the checkpoint. It was space created. They did get that checkpoint, so that is something to take away from here. But I think overall, Grusha proving me absolutely completely wrong, picking it 4. No stress from this Tracer right here. Space created just playing at speeds very much close to hypersonic. Pride. Now with the shatter though, looks like this is gonna be interesting.
They're trying to execute a down on Expensive there, but the hack comes in from Resolve to stop the roll through from They Coming Up. They still do get Expensive out of the fight, but Grusha's seen kind of duck at half HP. Both support out the fight for Pride though already, so. The good news for Pride is they did get I think they almost got forward spawn back up for themselves. If they didn't, they're gonna make Space Creative push that bot all the way back. So there is gonna be another fight before Space Creative does get that first checkpoint here, and Pride almost has 5 ultimates. The only one they don't have is Layla's Sound Barrier.
Yeah. And sorry, holy smokes! I totally thought Space Created got that first checkpoint there. They did not. That's gonna rub some salt in their wound right there. But yeah, lots of ultimates coming into play here, as you said. No beat from the side of Pride, which might be a little bit risky. There's gonna be more offensive from either side. Looks like Grusha's starting that offense with a nice little pulse one, but doesn't find much. On the other side though, Resolve finds a lot with that EMP. Derpy Shark following it up with a headshot on the Ringer right there, and now the rest of the Space Created kind of falling out. That was a really well timed EMP, and I think it was just the kind of map placement too.
Yeah, it hit Ringer, or They Call Me M, and Grusha. Grusha obviously can recall and got the effect off of them, but Ringer, it caught Ringer as they were trying. I think Ringer wanted to set for that EMP, so Resolve going first. This means Ringer does have the EMP to come up here, but Expensive can reaction cleanse it.
Oh man, that'd be sick. And speaking of Kiriko's, both of them have Kitsune, so it's gonna be interesting who starts this off first. Ringer does have the EMP, and they've won fights just with the EMP alone, so let's see how that goes. And looks like, yeah, fantastic coordination from Space Created, although Alphile tries to turn around in a classic Alphile fashion. Pride really good at rebounding fights, but in this case scenario, they will not be able to do so. It's just dominant performance from Space Created right there. I think the support line, this Ana Kiriko, he's talked about this Sandy Ana for quite some time, and now we're finally seeing it in action. Lots of assists in that top right overall throughout this entire Esperanto, and now only 20 meters behind, and I think they are going to try and make this a bit of a turnaround, I dare say.
Yeah, the thing with Pride is they did push it a little bit further, and they got forward spawn again. Space Created just hasn't really been able to get their barricade any further than where it's sitting right now, and Pride has both support, so does Space Created, but Expensive gets hacked, I believe, out of her own Kitsune Rush there.
I'm not sure if that... I think that might have actually canceled it as well, I think. It looks like now it's a 4v4. Derpy Shark kind of names the crap out of Ringer right there. Looks like Hidden. The awesome Kiriko performance right there. Knocks out the front line. Halifile is out. Looks like the backline pressure is on from the side of Space Created, really separating that team right there. The Reinhardt, you know, that's just how it goes sometimes, but Space Created... they still have that Kitsune Rush. Looks like, yeah, Pride going to be taking up this tempo game onto their own kind of field here. Looks like Space Created trying to take this lead. Hold my breath. 3, 2, 1 is going to be touched. Is going to get stalled out. Derpy Shark trying to dance for his life right there. They call me M. Squishes him down. Yeah, top right of the screen. And now Grusha still has his pulse. Kitsune in play. Looks like, yeah, is going to get followed up. Resolve tried their damnedest right there, but I think the Space Created, they didn't even use Pulse Bomb, and they used Kitsune later after it. The cool, calm collectedness from this team is crazy.
Yeah, and now Pride, now they lost the lead, so they have to play perfect for the rest of this area, and Space Grid have 4 spawns, so they have to win at least 3 to 4 fights if they want to be able to take this map. And however, the Esperanza is one of those maps that you can flip on its head, but with Ringer Heen, that big EMP on both Layla and Hallow, this might be over. This might be going to map 5 and Space Created. Space Created looking to reverse sweep Pride here.
Yeah, these Ringer EMPs hit different. I'm just gonna say it. And now to end the map with a nice little diff on herself right there. I did love seeing what Pride was trying to do. At the end, they noticed that they were just kind of getting a little bit, I dare say, out tempoed by Space Created, just with the characters, how they were playing it. But overall, really good cohesion coming up from Space Created, winning a lot of those fights with just an EMP, winning a lot of those fights with just splitting up the team of Pride and just taking advantage of where they exactly are. Or like this is how they got a huge EMP to start off the fight, and then boom, look at this fantastic rebound. Albeit they did have some ultimates, but look at they coming in Pride's 2 picks right there, and like. There's just so much pressure on the support line of Pride. Just overall, you saw Expensive getting knocked out of the fight so many different times. I mean, holy guacamole, Denji.
Yeah, and Pride, we're up 2-0 to start. They are now it's go. Now Choi did predict it would be a 5 mapper. So Choi, it's looking like your prediction was true, but we'll see if Pride can take it, as it is Pride's pick of control, which they'll either be going to Lijiang Tower or Oasis. And I think I know exactly which map they're going to, considering that they love Brawl.
Oh man. Well, well, actually, I don't know. So, would you say, are you implying that Lijiang or Oasis is more of a Brawl map?
Have you seen Overwatch 1 Lijiang?
Well, I mean, Lijiang
is dominated by Reinhardt.
I mean, you could say Oasis has some Brawl going
Oasis
for it,
has some Brawl maps, being the only University Brawl map, City Center Dive map, Gardens Brawl/Dive.
Okay.
Lijiang Tower, Control Center Brawl, Gardens Brawl/Ball Dive, and then Night Market, mainly Sim Brawl.
I see what you're saying. It's gonna be interesting to see how Space Created go about it, because we just saw them playing. What do you call Esperanza Brawl map? Well, Esperanza.
There's a little more freedom what you can run there, because the map's a little more wide open. That's why I was thinking that Pride would have gone to Coliseo, since that map's more enclosed and favors the Brawl. I don't know if that was a pick from their coaches or a pick from themselves, but I would have liked to see them gone to Coliseo. They've looked really strong on the Brawl maps, being Nepal and Eichenwald, and then for the last two maps, they've looked a little bit weaker on things besides when they're not mirrored in the Brawl. So if they want to go to a Brawl map, if they don't go to Lijiang, Space Created might be taking the reverse sweep.
That's a really good point. So some map knowledge, because now I'm like, well, because they ran on Esperanza, they ran that kind of ball of Sombra, so something that actually did decapitate that kind of Brawl kind of thing Pride was going for, but that was on Esperanza, so it might be, and considering that point control, either map, Lijiang or Oasis, it comes down to like 3 different maps, all different kind of styles. I think we're gonna see some kind of game breaking kind of maneuvers pulled out from Space Created if they do want to come out on top. But it's gonna be just like you said, Lijiang Tower.
Anybody wonder where the heck Esperanza says 93 to 75? I have no idea. That is probably another glitch.
Is that the meterage? That's sick.
That might be the meterage of what Space Created and Pride had, which is better than just saying 1-0.
Honestly, I kind of screw with that. I kind of agree with it. But we did get Lijiang Tower. Do you think Pride? So okay, honestly, who do you think is going to come out on top? Just like if top 5, who knows? If
Space Created choose to keep They Call Me M in, they have I think they have a chance here, because They Call Me M plays more than main tanks and Keeks Swig. But they have elected to keep They Call Me M in, and Night Market is one of the points where you can run that pharmacy, you can run the ball. But on the side of Pride, wearing that Sim Brawl means you can just stay on the point and basically say, if you're coming into us, we're just gonna blow whoever the heck comes in. The Farah just is out outside the point until they can actually execute anything. And yeah, it's gonna be hard as actually Resolve's on the cast this time and immediately picks up Gersha.
Yeah, Pride with that sim TP, Mike coming out in a little bit of advantage there, but far Mercy from the side of Space Created. You'll love to see it. I think they're definitely trying to play for a bit more map advantage, map control. They kind of did some stuff like that on Nepal. I think Lee Jane might give them a little bit more advantage with that far Mercy. Does find a pick. It is a 4v4. Now a bit of a 4v3 with Sandy applying a bit of a support differential. Now Gresha picking up another kill. That's 3 for the side of Gresha and a point cap for the side of Space Created.
Yeah, and Derpy probably gonna go away from that Symmetra. It's hard to retake point with Sim, especially here. Resolve goes over to the Tracer. Yeah, Derpy goes over to the Cassie. Resolve is probably gonna try to keep Ringer in check here, or at least go after Sandy to some extent. It's gonna be a little tough for Pride to get to the point here now that Gersha has kind of control over the main areas of the map right now.
Yeah, look at that. Control dominated, reflected with some fantastic stuff. An opener by Sandy. Looks like oh my goodness gracious, it's Mercy Ana and a team kill, which is, you know, just a cherry on top with all of this. Looks like this is interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see how Pride deal with this this ball. I think it's gonna be a bit more of an issue than the other maps, I dare say, but Ultimate's coming into play.
Yeah, Gersha with that barrage. And Pride not really having anything to answer. Space Grade almost up to 5 ultimates, or 4 ultimates, because Hidden's a little bit off of that Valkyrie. But Pride really doesn't have anything to answer anything from the side of Space Created here, so it's gonna kind of be up to them just to try to counterplay and play away from that far, because if Gersha gets a barrage off, then we're in final. If Gersha gets a big barrage off, we're in final fight territory.
Oh yeah, it doesn't even have to barrage. Try and 50 Shark, the main kind of counter. Looks like Resolve is going to find a nice little even trade. It's going to be a 4v4, Sandy's out. Hidden's going to be a little bit of under stress here. It's a dive composition with Mercy and Afara. Some stress, but stress alleviated. Expensive is knocked out. Another expensive kind of pick right there. Inside of Pride, you're going to be having to reset there. Now, I mean, it was a drive fight, so now you're coming up on ultimates. And you're going to want those when Space Created have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
They have 5 ultimates, final fight territory. This is looking dire as Immortality Field already forced out from the side of Pride, and Minefield now just like that. This is not looking good for Pride as they lose Hallow on the rotation. Derpy's already won.
Dude, Grusha barraged that indoor place, and then They Call Me M just didn't care. Rolled right in and mined. Like, that's just dominance coming out from the side Space Created, and Grusha picked up 3 right there. That's oh, 4. My mistake.
Yeah, Derpy did pick up 2, but it's only Hallow left on the ball here, and Space Created 1 map away from reverse sweeping Pride here.
Oh snap! Hey, only technically this could be Pride's reverse sweep here well, relative to the point objective game mode, but heading into this, I think Pride just needed a bit of that kind of reality check. They are dealing with Space Created. Maybe not just run of the mill. Yeah, I dare. They Call Me M. I hope you do.
Yeah, this is the area where if there's a map that Pride takes, or a stage that Pride should take, it's this stage, because in the Brawl Mirror, Pride has looked way better than Space Created.
Plus, it's just kind of this kind of brawl, this brawl leashing map. Looks like Ringer. Oh, looks like they're both okay. Yeah, Amir. Looks like this is gonna be some classic beef here. Resolve, nice little J silly diff on Aggressor. That's gonna be a fantastic opening pick. Looks like Halfowl follows up with charge, no immortality fields. After on the other side, it's just gonna be a lot of raw damage coming in now. But with Halfowl out of fight, you got no shield. Pride's gonna have to rethink this one as a back away slowly.
Yeah, Resolve did get a nice first pick on the Gersha there, but Derpy kind of got caught out in the corner by They Call Me M, and Hallow attempting to save, or attempting at least to pin or save Derpy out there. That was a little bit of a misplay from them, but this is just tough for Pride because they already have to use Immortality Field, and Space Spirit is pushing the advantage.
Ooh, they did it yet again. Look at that crazy aggression. Look at all those kills, man. Another. Oh my goodness gracious. That was a pretty fast shadow too. I think Hidden right there was a hidden element for that kind of fight win. The kind of speed and tempo that Space Created. They still have it from East Bronx, even though they didn't necessarily run that Lucio. Looks like the support lineup is really keen at exactly when they want to press advantages. But Ultimate's coming into play.
Yeah, Resolve having that tire way up way before Gersha, as they just bypass and teleport straight to the point now, and now it's up to Space Created to try to attack the point from the outside. Oh well, that was just kind of. I don't know if that was BM or if that was just because Ringer tried to teleport over there.
Ringer tried it and Ringer failed. That's a classic right there. But technically, it's a 5v4 and it could still happen with these two teams. It's still being fought down to the very wire. Alpha and nice little boop right there. Actually, yeah, I think Pride's gonna be holding this, but Russia, still kind of a menace on this J still here. Trying to play out this kind of offsides angle after the kind of tank is out of the fight. We're gonna playing around angles a little bit more. It looks like DPS are only alive for the side of Space Creator, but not for long. It's expensive. Knocks a nice little headshot rally or headshot barrage into the side of the J silly for Space Creator, but. Oh man.
And Ringer gets picked off here. That's gonna buy more time for Pride to restabilize. And now Pride coming in with a lot more ultimates as Hallow did diff they coming in quite a bit on Eichenwald there with her Earth Shatters versus his, so we'll see if that happens again, but please, they coming in. Just block one.
just block one. From Eichenwald, we've seen lots of shadows get blocked, lots of stuffings. Grusha on a little bit of a rodeo right now. Ooh, the combo. Holophile out. The beat does come out. It looks like it's 45. They're going to try and fight this. They said the way you died was unfair and we will stand not for it. Looks like they're still going to be fighting this Resolve with a frontline tire. But the beat from Hidden, perfect timing right there, is going to save a lot of members of the team and even start a rebound, I dare say. Still kind of a 5v4 as Holophile comes back in the fight, but it might be a little bit too late as the timing is going the way of Space Created. Although Holophile, nice little shatter right there, but it is going to be going away to Space Created. But 87%.
Yeah, Pride, both teams invested a lot into that fight, and neither team really has any ultimates coming up here except for Ringer with that Symmetra wall, and if Pride in Final Fight territory in terms of their percentage versus Space Grid, but Space Grid is catching up quite fast right now, so it could be down to one fight on both sides here soon, as Space Grid only 20% off of what matching Pride.
Yeah, this is some scary stuff. Ooh, and I dare say early immortality could come out from Space Created. A late one coming out from Pride. Yeah, Derpy Shark. Oh, and both the supports. Oh my goodness gracious.
Yo, where's Dex when you need him? He would be jumping. He would be bouncing off walls right now. If he's in chat, if you're in chat, Dex, clip this and say it's the new age because you're seeing double sim on both sides right now.
Holy smokes, yeah, Derpy Shark making quite the name on that sim right there. Holy smokes. Ringer tries to make a name for their own sim, but the walls are just now overlapping. Derpy Shark really trying to establish that symmetric difference, but Ringer is going to steal it. Now it's going to be a bit of a 4v5 scenario. Resolve on this kind of off angle, trying to throw some grenades down Jay Silly's way, but not going to find much value as this main kind of front line is being taken on the point. Now Halophile with a nice little sand with no shield to really block it. They Call Me M is out. Grusha, though, with a nice little tire, does find expensive. A little expensive pick, I dare say, having that window. Lila falling dangerously low. Now it looks like Space Created are actually kind of trying to retake this. Resolve says no.
What they say died! The tire zoned them!
Oh my goodness gracious. That tire had so much... Oh my goodness gracious. That tire just had so much of a presence that Space Created just didn't want any of that. Didn't want any of that. Pride takes that map 1-1.
Yeah, and now it's down to round 3, map 5, Lijiang Tower. Space Grid going back to that ball dive. Pride showing Hellfire showing Winston in the spawn room right now. I don't know if she'll stay with it, especially considering that Expensive is still in that BAP unless she decides to make a switch here. But it's pretty much mirrored except for the tank right now. Hallow and Winston versus They Call Me M on that Wrecking Ball. And in terms of comps, Pride may have a little bit more for him because Summer does counter out Ball more than she counters out Winston if Resolve doesn't die here.
Well, we could see how the pressure alleviates to the other kind of players, because I think we've seen a lot of support pressure so far, but not a lot of support pressure onto Space Created. But as I say that, Halophile just jumps and destroys Sandy right there. Now it's a bit of a 4v5 scenario. Both Stormbers kind of under a lot of pressure here. TP's being forced to be used. Now it's another trade, actually. It's going to be a 3v3. Fancy that. It's on the point. Now it looks like Layla kind of being hunted down, but it looks like Derpy Shark doing some pressure of their own. And knocks one into Grocery right there. Nice little Tracer diff established. Love seeing the kind of coordination come out from both of these teams now, because looks like the Sombra it's going to be a very different play style from Esperanza.
Yeah.
Another trade coming out. This fight is still not over. Holy guacamole.
Yeah, it's still not over,
yeah.
but finally it ends. And in terms of EMP charge, Resolve is ahead of Ringer right now, which is kind of when it comes to Summer Ringer, whoever gets EMP up is crucial. Especially since now that Pride kind of realized that they're copying the style of Space Grid and getting that hack off onto, or at least trying to get a hack off onto the backline and going for the dive there, or at least like just forcing Come out with the hacks. As Come forced to back off immediately because of that hack from Resolve.
Yeah, and during that first fight too, fantastic hack onto the.
That hit nobody.
listen. Zone EMPs work best for Resolve right there. Picks up 2, but looks like 2 for the side of Space Created is got. Looks like now 1 to the side of Tide. Looks like now it's going to be a bit of a player advantage, I'd dare say. But I do want to point out that there was during that first fight a hack onto Tracer, which then was in the middle of a fight was got. So it's coming down to the minutes. It could be onto a Lucio, it could be onto a Tracer. Really fantastic stuff from both of these teams, but Pride with the lead. Space Created definitely has something to say about that.
Yeah, and Ringer does have that EMP, but it's gonna be up to Layla not to get caught by that. Oh no, they do get caught, but they manage to get the sound barrier off. That's massive. Expensive picks Ringer with a nice headshot. Pride looked like they know. Pride could completely different from Esperanza. Where was this comp on Esperanza where they could have probably done the same thing on Esperanza and like ended the series then and there? But you know what? Sometimes you just gotta give a team false hope.
Oh my god, there's so much inspiration throughout the last map, and now that Kamiam is now running the Winton. And now it looks like it's going to be a bit of a mirror matchup, but there's not a lot of time left. There's a lot of ultimates for the side of Pride. Looks like Halifile, oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, looks like Pride is going to say, screw the reverse sweep, we end it here and now, and you know what? I think Pride just wanted to give us a little bit of an entertainment, not make it an easy 4-0, if you get what I mean.
Oh, wait, does that mean Choice 01 predicted
Choice
it, right?
01, you predicted it correctly.
That's
Try to
crazy.
take this match 3-2, denying the reverse sweep from Space Created.
Oh, that's so mean, dude. I totally thought Space Created were gonna reverse sweep.
You know what? I think
That's
Pride
crazy.
heard Choi say that it was gonna be a 3-2 and just decided to gift Choi with that, especially since Choi called Resolve the Jesus
That's
Christ
true.
himself.
That's true. We saw a lot of I was gonna say biblical performance. Don't know if I can actually say that, but overall, that was fantastic from Pride. Space Created looking so dominant in those maps that they took, especially on Esperanza, where it looked like Pride were thrown for a complete loop. It looked like they couldn't play the Ryan. They tried to swap to a Winston, and I was like, well, heading to Legion Tower, you might see some more Reinhardt, but even that got kind of countered on this map, where they call me M just popped off in a lot of in those kind of tight scenarios with that kind of the square map, just go off the point, take those direct offsides angles. But when it came to Gardens, how do you think that Pride took such a lead? Because Space Created didn't cap the point a single darn time.
They just played, in terms of the dive, in terms of the comp, Pride just played a lot faster than Space Created did. Getting the hacks off they knew what they wanted to do. We don't talk about that EMP resolve.
Zoning.
But the ball needs a lot more time to set up. They need to be able to roll in and roll out, get the slams. In terms of Pride, Howell just has to wait on Ringer to call a hack and jump.
True.
There's a lot more setup with the ball comp, and since Space Carrier was taking a little bit longer to set up on that ball comp, Pride just went faster and pressed the aggression and was just way more out-tempoed Space Carrier completely on that final stage of Legion Tower there.
Yeah, 'cause the first pick that happened was a jump onto Kiriko from the side of Pride. So yeah, just fantastic stuff all around. I totally thought it was gonna go either way. Fantastic stuff from both these teams. GG all around. Holy guacamole, that was one heck of a night. I was sweating a little bit, not gonna lie, and I'm sure these players sweat a lot more. Speaking of players, who's your favorite?
Do you even need to ask?
Well, I mean, it could be anyone. Is it is it
I
the
honest-
one? Is it the one? Is it the one and only?
If there's one player, there's only one player that stood that literally. There's only one player that I can give player of the match here.
Who could it be?
Resolve.
Resolve.
He is literally probably one of the best flex DPSs I've seen in Discord tier. He could probably match. He could probably match the likes of Sleepy Bear from Beat Drop Bears and Tanic the from MI7. He's that good.
Okay. So honestly, I could definitely see it. We saw the May performance come out, which is crazy. Also, could play a widow, snipers as well. And in the last map, saw believe Tracer coming out as well. So truly, some fantastic flex performance. My favorite. Well,
is there any question about who it is, man?
Okay, well, I was gonna ask if it was gonna have to be from Pride. I want to give it to both the support lineups because I feel like we said a lot. We were talking about a lot about the DPS overall tonight. I want to give it to both the supports for Pride. It's so obviously we talk about the DPS a lot, but when we talk about DPS, it's because they have such a sight and cohesiveness with everybody else that we feel it's a good kind of main talking point. None of that could have happened if the support lineups from Pride were not upholding a tempo as counterable to Space Created. They didn't necessarily have to run the same kind of speed as Space Created a lot of the time. They just had to match the kind of player tempo at what times matched for the best for their ultimates, for their abilities, for when they wanted to go in, from when they wanted to counter both the tank players of Space Created. Fantastic stuff all around. So many different niche plays. We did eventually see the honor come out from Space Created. Also want to shout out all of them. Overall, really good match overall. If I keep talking, I'm just gonna congratulate every single player. But overall, that was a
both
great
teams
night.
played extremely well.
Yeah.
Going to five maps, especially since considering how dominant Pride looked after Icon. Well, Space Created flip it a little bit, but then Pride come back and say, "No, we're not going to be embarrassed on stream here. We're gonna gift Choice A1 what he predicted would happen here." And in terms of front runners for that best flex DPS in Discord tier, Resolve's up there.
I agree. Over, yeah. Is there any? I think is that everything?
Yeah, that should do it. We got more stuff coming up next week for Tranquility. Of course, this Saturday we have Bronze Banter, which is the deep dive into Harmony tier. There are some big topics that are probably going to be discussed on there. And next week, Tuesday, is your feature match for Harmony tier. Strix versus Posh Champ. I'm forgetting the Transcendence tier match off the top of my head, and
sorry.
I'm forgetting both of the other two matches off the top of my head. Strix versus Posh Champ is a big one for me because Posh Champ, they 4-0'd flashbacks and geometrics. If there's any doubters for the Posh Champ still, wake up.
Wake up, everybody. That's where we're gonna end this night off. Fantastic stuff in the works for the future. Next week at that, we're starting off with Harmony tier. Tune into Bronze Banner, see what that all is about. All the other Iris podcast, for Tranquility, lots of stuff heading into this next week. Have a fantastic night, everybody. This was fantastic. This was Denji. This was McMissile. This was our production team. This was here. Quick shot, Mr. Mountain Mike, THC. Fantastic stuff, everybody. Have a freaking fantastic night. Bye.